Some songs were written to be sad, but many are based on heartbreaking real-life experiences. These songs capture the emotion of heartbreak in all its forms and have surprisingly heartbreaking stories that inspired them. When George Michael wrote Jesus to a Child, he was inspired by the death of his Brazilian partner Anselmo Falepa from an AIDS-related illness in 1993. George Michael had met him only 2 years before, in 1991, but their love was so strong it inspired this song. After the death of George Michael in 2016, it was actually revealed that he had been secretly donating all of the royalties from this song to Childline, a charity for children in need. An immaculate decision on the part of George Michael, this song clearly captured his emotions and the love he felt for Anselmo Falepa. Every time he played Jesus to a Child live or on the radio, George Michael would always dedicate it to Falepa. The entire older album, in fact, was dedicated to Falepa's memory. Although publicly he was only known as a close friend of Michael's, he was in fact much more than that. The song topped the charts in many countries and was arguably one of the best songs Michael ever wrote, despite the fact that he wrote the entire thing in under 1 hour. He had plenty of time to think about it though, as Michael hadn't written any songs for a year prior. The song was his way of expressing his grief, and it was definitely successful in conveying the powerful emotions he was feeling. In terms of heartbreaking real-life backstories, few can match Eric Clapton's song Tears in Heaven, or his other song Circus. Tears in Heaven was written in 1991, following the death of his 4-year-old son Connor. The iconic words, "Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven?" were written in the depths of Clapton's grief and despair following the death of his son in a tragic accident. When Clapton's 4-year-old son Connor fell out of a 53rd floor window in New York City, Clapton was left heartbroken and unable to cope with the loss. Clapton wrote the song in an attempt to make sense of his grief and his feelings of guilt for not being there to save his son. As soon as he heard the news, Clapton went cold and disassociated himself from the world. He was able to find solace in the music and wrote Tears in Heaven as a way to process his pain. The song was an instant success, but for Clapton that didn't matter. What mattered was the loss of his son, who he credited for becoming and remaining sober and who inspired him to write the song. Although Clapton never originally intended for the song to be published, he eventually decided to release it against his better judgment. This is very similar to the story of Clapton's song Circus, which isn't as famous as his other song. Still, Circus is incredibly sad and describes the last memory that Clapton had with his son, making it without question a heartbreaking and haunting piece. A song about a childhood filled with tragedy, Queen's "These Are the Days of Our Lives" was written by Roger Taylor about his children, childhood, and how time passes quickly. And yet surprisingly, that wasn't the tragedy that makes this song so heartbreaking. "I Still Love You." That was the last thing Mercury said to the camera in the last filmed performance he ever made when the news broke that he had AIDS. Shortly after, he passed away from the disease. Although the song was written before his diagnosis, it takes on a new layer of meaning once you know the story behind it. Brian May later said that Freddie seemed to be saying his goodbye in the music video and poured his very heart and soul into the performance and the song itself. With this meaning, the song's lyrics take on a whole new layer of emotion and sadness. The song became one of the band's most popular singles and was featured all over the country. Although it is a sad song, it's also a song of hope and perseverance. Despite this, you can't help but feel heartbroken as you listen to the song and realize the meaning it had for Mercury, as well as the meaning that Roger Taylor gave it when he originally wrote the lyrics. With the song originally performed by Dionne Warwick in honor of many singers who had died, such as Buddy Holly, it captured the attention of Michael Jackson almost instantly. He was so affected by the song, in fact, that he called the co-writer of the song, telling him that he had cried when he first heard the music. This eventually led to Michael Jackson's involvement in recording the song and performing it in honor of his friend Ryan White, who had died from AIDS. This heartbreaking addition to the song only serves to make the story behind the music even more impactful, and the song was a hit from the moment Jackson released it. The classic song Seasons in the Sun by Terry Jacks was written about a real-life experience. When his good friend developed leukemia, Jacks was inspired to write a song about his friend's death and the sadness he felt. "He was gone in 4 months," he said in an interview. "He was a very good friend of mine, one of my best friends, and he said I was the first one that he told. I remembered this song of an old man dying of a broken heart, and I liked some of the melody, and there was something there. I rewrote the song about him." Although the original version of the song was much more somber and dark, and written about a dying man who'd been cheated on by his wife, Terry Jacks offers a version that is arguably even more heartbreaking. With lyrics that evoke a feeling of loss, sadness, and regret, Jacks captures the emotions of a man saying goodbye to a friend who was taken away too soon. Although Jacks wrote the song in memory of his friend, it has since come to be associated with goodbyes of all kinds. It's a reminder to cherish the time we have with those we love because it can be gone in an instant. This is a song of memories, a song that will remain a classic for years to come. Although it's a newer song, Ed Sheeran's Supermarket Flowers has a heartbreaking backstory. The song was written in honor of his grandmother while she was ill in the hospital and for his mother. Admitting later that he had tried to write this song from the perspective of his mother and how she felt toward her mother when she was dying, Sheeran captures a poignant moment of loss. The lyrics are simple, but they convey so much emotion and feeling. After playing the song for his father, Sheeran was requested to play it at his grandmother's funeral as well, making the song a particularly special one to the Sheeran family. The story of the song captures the emotions of those left behind when someone passes away. The pain of the loss is palpable, but it's also a reminder that you're not alone in the world, which has led to this song becoming immensely popular. Paul McCartney wrote Little Willow not for himself, but for Ringo Starr. The song was written shortly after the death of Starr's first wife, Maureen, who had recently passed away from cancer. In order to help Starr cope with his pain and grief, McCartney wrote the touching ballad. The lyrics of the song are an ode to Maureen, and McCartney expresses his sympathies to Starr. He tries to capture the feelings of loss and sadness that accompany death, writing, "Sleep, little willow, peace going to follow." The song's title reflects McCartney's idea of Maureen as a small willow tree. This song, without a doubt, had a great effect on Ringo Starr and was a pure tribute to his beloved wife that McCartney offers. Save the Last Dance for Me is a popular song written by Doc Pomus and Mort Schumann, first recorded in 1960. Although this song may not be as heartbreaking as the other songs on this list to many, it still holds a very meaningful message. The song is about the narrator's plea to their lover to save their last dance for them, even after they may be out of each other's lives. Doc Pomus, having contracted polio at an early age, wasn't able to physically dance with his wife at their wedding, and this song was his way of expressing his wish that he could have shared one last dance with her. The plea for somebody to save the last dance for you is a way of asking for them to remember the love and connection that has been shared, and asking them to hold your memory dear to their heart. Heartbreak is a universal emotion that is often expressed through music. These songs capture the emotion of heartbreak in all its forms and have surprisingly heartbreaking stories behind them. From a song written to capture the loss of a son to a song written about a friend who died too soon, these songs are reminders of the pain of heartbreak, but also the hope, perseverance, and love that can come out of it. There's something truly magical about music that was written with a purpose, and no songs portray this better than the ones on this list. With the stories behind them, these songs will remain timeless and will continue to be beloved by many for years to come. But what do you think are the most touching songs with backstories of true heartbreak? Did we miss any? Let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video.